Okay, so I'm going to take you on a little ride with me here, and we're going to talk about something else. Now, I've had a chance to ride this bike a while, and I've been commuting on it. And this is one thing that I noticed. This bike, first of all, it likes to go fast. It really does. And that's really cool because that's what I bought it for. But I pedal. A lot of people don't pedal these bikes. I pedal mine. Let's see if I can get this set right here for you. I pedal mine. Let me turn this on. Get it ready to go. Right now I got her on pedal assist 1. So I'm just going to get out in the street. Alright. Pedal assist 1. Let's see how fast we go here. I'm going to come up to another street up here. Pedal assist 1. Well, I'm pedaling. See my legs going. I don't know if you can or not. And if you can see the display, it gets me going about 15 miles an hour. Pedal assist 2. It really picks up, and we go about 18 miles an hour. Now, I'm not really pedaling hard, but I am pedaling, and I do feel resistance on the pedals. Okay, this is a nice new street. I like to go down this one. Got a car coming. Alright. I hope you can hear me. I don't know what the wind's like with this new mic. Go to pedal assist 3. And this is where I'm usually at when I'm commuting back and forth to work. I'm pedaling, saving my battery a little bit. I'm doing 20 miles an hour. Alright, let's take it back down to 2. Now, anything beyond pedal assist level 3, and I got this one, I unlocked it. So I've got it set. It's at its full potential. I unlocked it, so you got pedal assist level 1 through 9. Pedaling anything beyond pedal assist number 3, you're not pedaling. You're ghost pedaling. You're not giving any. You don't feel any resistance in the pedals at all. The motor takes over, and your feet are going round and round, but they're not doing anything. See, here in pedal assist 2, I can at least feel some resistance. Alright, let me see if I can adjust this a little bit. Give you more of a bird's eye view of what I'm seeing. Uh-oh, somebody got a flat tire. But this isn't bad. I mean, 18 miles an hour, I'm not really putting a whole lot of effort into it. Now, if I want to just go, just crack the throttle. And there we are, that's 30 miles an hour. So, what I have planned on this is my courtyard. I love living on this street because we don't get much traffic here. So what my plan is to change the front sprocket. And if I do that, I'm hoping to where I can get it to where if I'm pedaling and I can feel some resistance at 25 miles an hour, I'll be happy. If it does better than that, if I can go a little faster than that and still feel resistance pedaling, that's even better yet. But the goal is, I want to get it to where I can at least feel some resistance in the pedals at 25 mile an hour. So this is also kind of a test for this little mic here to see how it works out in the wind. I don't know how she's going to do. I have a little foam, I guess you call it a wind guard, over the mic. I don't have the fuzzy little, as people call them, dead cats. I don't know where that name came from, but I don't have that on here. I'll say this too, you know, these tires that I put on here, you can see the roads here are pretty crappy. And these Shinko tires that I put on here, man, they handle the bumps and the potholes and the debris that's in the road really good. They're not real noisy. At least I don't hear them, but then again, I'm a little hard of hearing, so it'll be interesting to see if I can hear these tires in the playback on this audio. I just got this mic set up, so I'm playing around with them a little bit. All right. So anyway, that's the plan. My plan is to change the front sprocket out. I think that it is, I don't know, I think it's like 48 tooth, 46 tooth, something like that. And the sprocket that I got for it is 58. So 10 teeth doesn't sound like a big difference, but it should make a difference. It's quite a bit larger sprocket than what's on here. All right, let me turn the bike off. All right, guys. Okay, so here is a nice little package that I got from Amazon. And if we open it up, what you're going to see is a new crankset. Now, what is this going to do for me? Okay, here comes, this is all the fastening bolts to attach the arm to the sprocket itself. Okay, so let's talk about the stock sprocket that's on the aerial. I think that it is, I think it's a 48 tooth is what it is stock. This one is 58 tooth, so I'm only gaining 10 teeth, but when I gain 10 teeth, you're going to go from a 48 to a 58. It's going to be larger in diameter, and if you look at this sprocket, now I wish I had the bike here, but the bike's out in the garage. If you look at this sprocket compared to the size of the one that's on there, it is substantially bigger. The other thing that's bigger on it is what they call the bolt center diameter or bolt circle diameter, and it's the size of the circle where the bolts go, and it would be, you know, also, you know, on the arm here. Okay, on the stock one, it is, if I remember, I think it's 110 millimeters is the bolt circle diameter. But when you go to a bigger sprocket, you want to keep this area here as short as possible, because if you don't, you're going to get a lot of flex when you pedal really, really hard. So this one has 130 millimeter bolt circle diameter, and it tells you on here what it is. All the information about this sprocket is on the sprocket. It's 58 tooth, 130 millimeter BCD, which is bolt circle diameter. It's an aluminum alloy. It's 7075 T6, which is, it's a pretty strong alloy, and it's aircraft quality. This is machined one piece. In other words, the sprocket and the guard is all machined out of one piece. And if you look in here, the sprocket is not removable from the guard or vice versa. This is all one piece. Now this is my hopes for this sprocket. Why am I going through this? This is a Light Pro. I'll try to list a link for it. This time around, a couple of guys have mentioned, hey, you need to post links for this stuff that you're putting on your bikes. Okay, so I'll try to get a link for it, and I'll try to post a link in the description. I did get this off of Amazon. It is a Light Pro. It was reasonably priced. I can't remember off the top of my head what it was, but it was like, I don't know, I'm just going to say it was like $50 or something like that. There's some other ones out there. Now, there was another one that I considered, and it was from an e-bike manufacturer. I'm just trying to remember what the name of it was off the top of my head. They manufacture e-bikes in this country. It's an e-moped. It's a class... I don't even think it's a class 3. It's you have to register it as a moped because it goes pretty fast. But they had a bigger sprocket, and theirs was like, I don't know, it was like 62 tooth, but there wasn't a big difference to go from 58 to 62. I was only gaining another 4 teeth, and it was like $100. So it was more than double what this one costs. So it's a compromise. It's a balance. So I went with this one. Also, when you change this crank arm and this sprocket assembly, your chain is not going to be long enough. And I still want to be able to use the full range of gears that are on the bike. So if I go down to the easiest gear, I still want to be able to pedal in the easiest gear. If I ever, run this thing out of charge and I'm away from home and I do have to pedal the bike home, I want to be able to use all the gears. So I ordered a couple of chains, and these are nice chains. These are I don't know if I can get this up here where you can see it. It's an X-style chain is what they're telling you right here. And it says superior shifting performance, and this is supposed to be for an 8-speed bike, and I think this is going to be fine on the aerial. It's a 7-speed. 7-speed, 8-speed doesn't make any difference. It's the width of the chain and the length of the link that matters, and this is the correct chain for it. Why do I have 2 chains? Because I couldn't find one that was going to be long enough. I couldn't find one chain that was going to be long enough. So what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to end up taking a few links out of this and adding it to the chain as necessary to get it the correct length. So this is my next project that I'm going to be doing on the bike. Got a couple other things planned. It's kind of funny. I thought I was all done with this, but the more that I ride it, the more while I'm riding it, I think of things that I want to change. So this is a big one. Like I said, when I'm on the bike riding, and you have your pedal assist modes, and now I've got the bike unlocked, so I've got pedal assist 1 through 9. Anything beyond pedal assist 3 is useless. You're just ghost pedaling. Your feet are going round and round, but I feel absolutely no resistance on the pedals at all. Pedal assist 3, I do about 20 miles an hour. And, it's okay for commuting back and forth to work. Nothing against the aerial rider bike. It's great. I mean, it does what it's supposed to do. Heck, most guys don't even pedal these. I'm probably the exception to the rule because I actually pedal this bike. It fits me fine. I don't have any problems pedaling it. I'm 5'9". Am I getting full leg extension? No, but I'm pedaling it. I'm getting some exercise. I definitely feel it in my legs. And I'm extending the range on my battery when I do this. So I like pedaling the bike. I don't have any problems with it at all. I wish that it would go a little bit faster. So I'm hoping with this sprocket that I can go up another level on the pedal assist level. If I can get to 4 or 5 or whatever. And the goal is to get to where I'm pedaling it going at least 25 miles an hour when I'm pedaling it. If I get anything more than that, I'm going to be ecstatic. I mean, that's going to be great. But I think this is going to be doable. I think it's going to be a big improvement for the bike. So next thing for me to do is to get the chain and the sprockets off the aerial rider and get the new crank arms on here and the sprocket. Let's see, I can just take this one out of the package. I don't really need this in the package. All right, so there's a nice finish on this. I mean, of course, everything's in black, so it's still going to match the bike well. So the next thing is going to be taking the sprocket and the chain off the aerial. Well, today's the day that we're going to swap out the sprockets on the Aerial Rider X class. So let me take you over here and show you what I got. Working on the patio table here. So I got a place to lay out my tools and supplies. And these are some of the things that you're going to need to take this sprocket assembly and chain and everything off. For one, you're going to need a chain breaker. So most of my tools, you can see, they're all park tools. And that's just because I've been a bike mechanic for many years, and Park makes really high quality tools, and usually it's my go-to when I'm looking for a certain type of tool. So this is a chain breaker. This is a Master Link remover and installer. And it's also a Park tool. I've kind of looked on this bike and I don't see a Master Link. I'll probably use this when I put the new chain on, but to get the old chain off, I'm probably just going to use the chain breaker. Pedal wrench. I have one, so I'm going to use it. There again, it's a Park tool as well. It gives me 15 millimeter and 9/16. 15 millimeters probably going to be the one that's going to fit this bike to remove and install the pedals. So, and then to get the crank arms off, I got a puller. You got to have a puller to get the crank arms off. Without one of these pullers, there is no way in hell you're going to get these crank arms off of any bike. So what I like to do is I like to back it way off so you can see the center post is retracted quite a bit. I go almost to the end of the threads and then thread this into the crank arms, but I'll be showing you all that as I do it. So you got to have a crank arm removal tool. So first thing I'm going to want to do is remove the pedals. The pedals are a lot easier to get off when the chain is on the bike. So first step is going to be remove the pedals, the next step is going to be remove the chain. So let's see what we got here. Now the right side is traditional thread, so it'll be righty tighty, lefty loosey. That one broke loose real easy. And that's because I put them on, and I didn't put them on Gorilla tight. So this one should come right off. And it does. Now the left side is the one that's reverse thread, and that's a left-hand thread. So you turn it clockwise to remove it. And the reason I say this is easier to do when it's on the bike is because you can use the bike as leverage. There we go. That one came right off as well. All right. So that's that. Now, next thing I got to do, there's a bolt in the middle of the sprocket assembly. It's a hex head. I got to get an Allen wrench. Alright, let's see what size this is. That looks pretty big. 8 millimeter maybe? Yep, that's the magic book number. Alright. So I'm just going to loosen these up. I'm not going to take them all the way off yet. I do want to get the chain off first. Let's see, is this going to be right or left hand? Okay, I think this is just regular bolt. Yep, that's a standard. So on the left side on the bolt on this, the only one that's left-hand thread is the pedal, not the bolt itself. Alright, so next thing we want to do is we want to take the chain off. Now what I do is I'm going to spin this backwards and I'm going to look for a master link. Now, I don't think this bike has a master link. I've kind of looked at it once already, but I'm just going to double check. No master link. But what I do see is I do see one chain link here that has a different color pin. And I'm going to take you off the tripod here and I'll see if I can show you this. I don't know if how well it's going to show up, but you can see that one link right there. It's got a little different color pin. That's probably where they assembled it at the factory, and they probably pressed that on with a chain tool at the factory. So that's where I'm going to break the chain. So I'm going to grab my chain breaker. And I'm just going to drive these pins out. Let's see, where was this link? Excuse my fat head, I'm sorry, I have to get it in my field of view here. Takes a little bit of muscle to push that pin out. Now I'm not going to drive it all the way through. I only drive them out enough just to free it from the outer plate. And I'm going to do the same thing on the back one. Okay, that one went real easy. So that other one obviously was the connecting pin. Now, technically, I could reinstall this just the way it is. I could drive these pins back in and it would be fine. Let's see if I can get this off of there. There we go. And the chain is off. It seems to be a pity to discard a brand new chain, but I couldn't find the exact same brand online, and I just bought the ones that I could find. Alright, obviously I keep a pile of rags next to me just to keep my hands clean. You don't want to be touching your bike all over the place and spreading grease all over the place. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and pull these crank arms off. So I'm going to want to back this center bolt out the rest of the way. And do the same thing on the other side. Now this is kind of an interesting bolt. It's just got this little plastic cover that goes on there just to kind of dress it up a little bit. I'm going to take this side off. Alright. Now the trick is to thread this in. This is your crank arm puller, and you want to thread this in as far as it'll go. You can take the center out, that's fine. Thread this in as far as it'll go till it bottoms out. It's only got to be hand tight. You don't got to put it in with a wrench. And then thread the driver in, being sure to keep it straight so you don't cross thread it. Okay, it bottoms. Now sometimes you can just hold on to the crank arm and push down on this and it'll break it loose. Sometimes you got to put a wrench on this nut and hold it when you're pushing on this. So let's see what we got here. I think it's coming. Yeah, came right off. See, got lucky there. Didn't take much force at all. The one thing that I am sacrificing on this new sprocket is on this one. Let's see if I can get a good view here. You got an inner and an outer chain guard. On the new one, you only have the outer. I wish I had an inner, but just because it doesn't really matter. It's not really going to prevent the chain from derailing. It's not critical that you have it. It's just nice. Alright, so there's one crank arm off. Let's do the same thing on the other side here. Hope this one comes off just as easy. I'm going to go ahead and back this all the way out. What a beautiful day. Michigan, springtime. Trees are starting to bud up and bloom. And we're supposed to go into the 70s today. I think it's in the 60s right now. It's beautiful. Calm, no winds. Great day to be outside working on your bike. Really, I should be riding it, but I'll be doing that this afternoon once I get this install done. Alright, thread the driver in. Ooh, I just heard my phone give me a notice from Amazon. I got something else coming for this today. Hopefully it gets here before I'm done with this. That would be really nice. This one's a little tight. It's coming. There we go. Pulled it right off. Alright, great. Alright, so another thing that I did is I went ahead and I put some grease. Let's see if I can keep my head out of the way, out of the shadows here. And I put some grease on this shaft so that when I go to put the crank arms back on, you got two dissimilar metals there. You got a steel shaft and an aluminum crank arm, and sometimes you get corrosion between the two, and if you ever need to go and take it apart, it makes it difficult. So by putting a little grease on there, that should help to prevent that. So now the next thing that I'm doing is I'm starting to assemble this sprocket, and I've got, you can see the screws and the little nuts there here, and the little nuts have, I don't know if I can show you here. See the two little flats? There's a special tool to hold those. I got to go in the house and see if I got that. But I'm assembling this sprocket, and the sprocket can go on. It can either go on from the back side. You can see there's a little lip right here, or it can go on from the front side. Now, I wasn't sure which way to go. So I looked up at the pictures on Amazon of this item, and it shows it being installed this way. So I'm hoping that the sprocket offsets properly so everything lines up. On the original, it's hard to see, but the sprocket was actually on the inside. That's really hard to see. So I don't know if it's really going to make that big of a difference or not, but we shall see. So I'm going to finish putting these last couple of screws in. So like I say, I got a nut that goes on the back side, and then a screw that goes in from the front side, and then it's a 5mm Allen wrench. I like these ones with the ball sockets just because they're easier. And then I'm putting everything together finger tight here for a minute. Now the last one, nut in from the back side, screw in from the front side. Now I'm going to pause the camera and go into my bicycle toolbox and see if I can find this little special wrench to hold that nut in the back side. I think I got one, but I'm not sure. I'm going to put this on pause. Okay, so this is let's see if I can see this. This is the little specialty tool, and it's made so that there's a little pin that goes in the center of the nut, and then the two flats go into the two flats on the nut. So it goes in just like this. Let's see, I don't know if these are both the same size. It's hard to say. So anyway, what this allows you to do is to hold this so you can tighten it. It doesn't take much. These don't have to be gorilla tight. Most people over tighten everything, and I'm probably guilty of that myself. So I'm just holding the flats on it and snugging it up. Can't get this in there. There we go. Just work your way around. Two more to go. I think that's it. Yep. All right. Now then, before I put this on, let's do a little comparison. Now remember, I said this is only increasing this by about 10 teeth. But look at the difference in the size of the sprockets. You can literally put this sprocket inside the other one. So I'm hoping that this is going to accomplish what I'm trying to accomplish. Like I said, if I can get this to where I can pedal it at least 25 miles an hour and feel some resistance in the pedals, I'm going to be happy. If I get more than that, that's going to be even better yet. Alright, so let's put these crank arms on. So I'm going to bring you over here again. And you can see what I'm going to do. So I got to find the big honking Allen wrench and a bolt and the crank arm. Now it doesn't matter which way these go. Just okay. I got clearance on the frame here. I can still go. I could even go bigger yet. So now the beauty of this is now I have a crank arm assembly that has a 130 BCD, or what they call 130 millimeter bolt circle diameter. Remember when I was talking about the sprocket, it tells you right here it's 130 millimeter bolt circle diameter. So now in the future, if I'm not happy with this sprocket, and in the future if I find a sprocket that's bigger, I don't have to buy the whole crank arm assembly. I can buy just the sprocket assembly. But I think this one might do the trick. I'm really hopeful. So now put this bolt back in. Now these you do want kind of snug because it's a press fit. So as you tighten this, it's going to be pressing this crank arm onto that shaft. Now this is something where you're going to want to put it on, and then you're going to want to take it out for a ride and check it periodically to make sure that it hasn't loosened up. Now, I'm always afraid of, I have a tendency, like most people do, I over tighten things. And so I don't want to over tighten this and strip out either the crankshaft or the bolt itself. So I just got it snug. I saw it pull in. Let's see, let's give it a spin. Is it straight? Yep, it's tracking straight. So I know that it's on straight. So let's do the same thing with the other side. The only difference on this one is make sure your crank arms are 180 degrees apart. Okay, got the bolt in. And we'll do the same thing. I'm going to snug this down. I use a little strength here. That's probably good. Nice and smooth. I don't hear the bearings making any noise. Everything clears. Alright, so now is the tricky part. Now I'm going to put the chain on, and I got to figure out how many extra links I'm going to need. This is where it gets a little tricky. I'm going to pause this camera and see if I can figure this out, and because otherwise it might be a little boring. It's going to take a while. When I get it all figured out, and I know how many links I'm going to need, I'll come back. Okay, let's see. I brought you down a little closer here. Let me see if I can show you what I'm doing to fit this chain. Now, you want to fish it through your derailleur and get it routed around the sprocket. So you go around the upper one and then around the outer one. I'm on the largest sprocket, so you want to make sure that you shift it so your derailleur is shifted all the way over to go into the largest sprocket. I want to be able to use all my gears. So what I'm looking at here, like I said, this chain is going to be too short, and you can see how much too short it is. Oops, I pulled the derailleur out of alignment. Let's see if I can pull this through. Gotta be careful, because when there's no tension on the chain, on the derailleur, it wants to pull out of alignment. So, actually, this derailleur is probably out of adjustment. So here you can see how much too short the chain is. So I'm going to clip one link on, or one side of the chain on together, and that'll show me where I need to break it at. So I'm going to get the other chain, get it out of the package. And I'm going to get my little master link tool. And I put some rags down just because these chains come coated with oil. And it just keeps some of the dirt off it. So, what are we going to do here? I'm going to put a master link in. And this is a half link. So 2 halves make a hole. And put this together. And then you take this tool and you lock it in. See if I can do this. Is it locked? Just like that. Didn't take much. I didn't feel it click, but it's locked. Alright, so now, where do I want to break this chain at? I'm going to say that link right there. I'm going to put this in here just to mark it. And I'm going to get, oh crap, I lost my spot. Anyway, let me get my chain breaker. Now you always want to break these chains so that you end up with an inner link like this right here, not an outer link. Alright, so once again, pull this tight. And it looks like I want to be right here. So I'm going to break the chain right there. Shouldn't take much. Push that pin through. Same thing here. Push the pin through. Alright, take the chain apart. Come on now, come off of there. have a bunch of chain left over. Let's get the other link. And let's put this bad boy together. One half on that side, one half on this side. Come on now. It's fighting me. I gotta get it rolled over just a little bit. Of course, now I could probably drop it down a gear so it's not so tight. There we go. Well, that didn't work out well. Oh, I see what's happening. It's closing on me and I don't want it to yet. There we go. All right, make sure this is locked in. Okay. Now let's see what it does. See if I can shift it up. That should be first gear. There it goes. Now let's see if I can pedal it all the way around, get it down into the lower gear. Okay, that's it, all the way down. All right, so everything works good. Run up through the gears, no problem, all the way up. All right, so that part of the install is done. Let's go handheld here and see if I can get close enough to this chain. Yeah, I think you can see it. This is also a KMC brand chain, and it's what they call a Z chain. I don't know if you can see the Z stamped in the link, whereas this one is the KMC chain, but it's an X chain. That's why they call it an X8. Basically, it's the same size chain, it's just a little bit different style on the outer plate is what it is. Now, I probably could have gotten away with just taking some links out of that chain and adding it onto this chain, but I like to keep everything the same, so I just went ahead and added links, you know, from two chains, combined two chains to make the length that I need. So, here's the setup. I think it looks really cool. We'll go handheld again. I'll bring you down here. Sprocket is substantially larger. I think it's gonna work. All I gotta do now is throw the pedals on, and then I'm gonna take it out for a try. I'll put my chest strap on for the camera, and I'll take you guys with me in a little bit. But let me get these pedals on, and then we can take it out for a test ride. See if my plan was a success or not. One other thing that I wanted to mention is when you put the pedals on, of course, remember there's a right and left, but also take a little grease. Doesn't take a lot, just a little bit. Take a little grease, put it on threads. Okay. There again, you got two dissimilar metals here. You got steel shaft on the pedal, and then the aluminum from the crank arms. And like I said, they can corrode, and they'll pretty much just weld themselves together, and you'll never get them apart. So always put a little grease on your pedals when you put them back in your crank arms. It doesn't take much. So, everything matches really good. Black, black, black. Looks good on the bike. And let's give this pedal a snug. Make sure you get the 15 millimeter. Like I said, I just go snug with these. I don't go gorilla tight. I mean, some people just get carried away with tightening them up, and all you end up doing is stripping out the crank arm, and then your pedal's loose and wobbling all over the place, and that's not a good thing. So I'm going to get a little more grease. Nope, a little more than that. This is the left-hand pedal. So let me show you what I'm doing here. Alright, just fill the threads is all you got to do. I'm going to come over to the other side. So you want to turn this counterclockwise to tighten on the left-hand side. Remember what I said, this is left-hand thread. It's always backwards on the left-hand side. And same thing, just snug this down. That's enough. All right. Pause the camera here. All right, so now that the install's done, let's take her out and a little test ride and see if I was successful. I'm going to power the bike up and we'll see how she does. And right now I'm in pedal assist 1. Let's see what this gives me. I can definitely feel resistance. And pedal assist 1, 16. Pedal assist 2, 17. Pedal assist 3, 20. And I can still feel resistance. So let me make the turn up here onto this smoother street, and we'll see if I can go up another pedal assist level. Pedal assist 4. Yeah, I can still feel it. Doing 23. Pedal assist 5. Can barely feel it, but it got me to what I wanted. It got me to 25. So, I'm riding into the wind. Let's turn around and go back the other way and see what it'll do. I like doing my test runs on this street because it's smooth, it's new. Oh yeah, that's doable. I'm happy. I'm getting 25, 26. I can barely feel it, but I can feel it. So if I drop it down 1, let's go down to pedal assist 4. I'm going to turn around again. Pedal assist 4. Yeah, that's pretty much ideal. That gets me to 24 pedaling, where I can actually feel some resistance in the pedals. So that means that when you can feel some resistance in the pedals, that means you're not running solely on battery power, and that should get you a little more range. Yeah, so I'm going to call that a success. The wind noise isn't too bad with this mic. I just got it clipped on my t-shirt collar. No, this is ideal. I like this. I can feel some resistance in the pedal. I'm getting a little more speed. I gained 4 or 5 miles an hour right now. 24 mile an hour is pretty consistent, so I gained 4 miles an hour. Now, alright, so I'm going to drop this down. 0 pedal assist. 1. Alright, so, what did that really get me? Or what did it cost me? Let's just talk about that. So, I gained basically another pedal assist level to where I can actually feel myself pedaling still, and I got 4 miles an hour more, 4 to 5 miles an hour more. What did that cost me? For the sprocket and the 2 chains, I'm going to say that was roughly about $70. But for $70, I didn't just gain miles per hour on my pedal assist. I gained miles that I'm going to extend my range on my battery. That's another thing that it was really all about. And it's like I said, for me on my bike, I pedal this thing. You know, a lot of guys don't pedal them, but I do. I find it enjoyable. The bike fits me right. I'm 5'9", 32-inch inseam on my legs, so I can comfortably pedal this. I've seen some guys on these that are, you know, they're over 6 foot, they're 6'2", 6'4", and when they pedal the bikes, their knees are up in their chest. It's not suited to them for pedaling. Whereas for me, it is. It's perfect. I can pedal this thing all day and I'm comfortable. So I'm going to call this a success. Okay, look what we got here. Amazon was just here. And remember in my assembly video where I said that at one point I might add some different pedals to my bike and dress it up a little bit? Well, got these on Amazon. These are mountain bike pedals. These are CNC machined, and these have 3 bearings in them, and they spin really nice. This is kind of a cool thing. They also give you extra spacers and the little screws, which are these cleats They give you a few extra of those. And then they give you some shims here. I'm not sure what those are for. They might go in here somehow. And they give you a little wrench to take the cleats on and off. That's kind of cool. So, like I said, everything on the bike is going to be black and yellow or black and gold. So this is going to dress it up a little bit. I'm going to get these on. Pedals are marked left and right. These should be 15 millimeter as well. Let's check it with the pedal wrench. Pedal wrench says 15 millimeter. All right, so let me go over to the bike. And we'll take the stock ones off. Now the good thing is, I just put these on today, so there should still be grease in the threads, and I won't have to re-grease them. There's one. Alright. So we can do a little comparison on the size of these. These are a little bit bigger, not a lot. Definitely a lot lighter. These are pretty heavy in comparison. Did I order the wrong size? No? Why does this not want to start? No, there we go. I just wasn't straight. Okay. That looks pretty cool. I like the way that looks. Now I was going to say this is purely cosmetic, but actually it's not. There's a lot more. Come on, pedal, start. There we go. There's a lot more of the little spikes that dig into your shoes so your feet don't slip off. So it's not just purely cosmetic. There we go. Now that looks pretty cool. So that completes that. We'll call that all one project. Changing the sprocket and the crank arms and putting the new pedals on, new chain. Alright, I call this project done. That's a success.